What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioners Clubhouse on the LCC Network for part 2 of week 2. I had to slow myself down almost to get that one across. But anyways, yeah, here we are again. Another great episode like always. But again, we don't have Isaac. So
we
long
lied.
story, we lied. Isaac's not with us. Maybe he did get sucked out by the storm. We're not sure. We have a rescue party down in Walterboro looking for him. No, I'm just kidding. He's house sitting, and there's a bunch of weird stuff going on. The house is haunted, all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, so that's where we are right now.
A lot of technical issues at the house he's staying at, so we'll have him back on next week. Until then, it's just the good old days, man. Just the good old days.
Just the good old days.
So real quickly, I mean, there's nothing to jump into. We already talked about everything else in the last episode. So, I mean, we're just going to jump straight into the predictions, or not predictions, I guess, previews. And so we're going to have plenty of time to discuss it. You ready, Pat?
Let's do it.
Here we go.
It's game time. 4th and 1 on the goal line. I'm here first over the top like a spring.
Game of the week. I know people were not excited about this, I guess, in the group chat, given how first week showed up. But it's Jade and Daquan, a very, very long rivalry here, Pat. I'll let you kind of dive into this. I know this is kind of your thing here with the league history and whatnot, being in it from the beginning. So tell us a little bit about this matchup and why it's game of the week.
Well, this is my thing, girl. This is actually there is some relevant history between these two teams. I think between the two of them, they have like 9 division titles. I mean, they literally have enough division titles between the two of them to take up every single year of our league's history besides 2019, which is obviously unfolding before our eyes. And so there's a lot of success. Jade's been a couple little critter bowls and so forth, like we all know. He likes to remind us of that from time to time. But yeah, they played each other 8 times total. They played each other twice in the playoffs. Jade's beat them both times in the playoffs. And Jade actually has the overall series 6-2. It's kind of by a landslide. In fact, the last time Daquan beat Jade was in week 5 of 2013. It has been 6 years since Daquan won.
Woo.
6 years, man. That is crazy.
Hold
You want to take a wild guess as the closest margin of victory since then? Besides 2013?
God. I'm going to say 38 points.
You're pretty close, honestly. So it actually comes out to be 40 points. So that was the closest margin of victory, and that was back in 2014. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's some history here. I know Daquan's coming off a big win. Jade's coming off a big win. Both 1-0. Both coming off critical parts of the season where they've beaten a divisional foe, and now they're playing their non-conference game, man. This is going to be good. I wasn't expecting them both to be 1-0. I thought one of them would lose. I didn't know exactly who it may be. But I think we're in for a pretty good show. The spread right now would say otherwise. I think it's got Daquan by what, like, is
44.
it 20 points? 40. Jesus.
44. God. And this was a team that did smack down Charles in week 1, and then Jade squeaked by Big Oss in week 1. So they're both, undefeated, I guess, at this point. And one of them is going to be 2-0 after this weekend.
Do you think it's more important to be 2-0 in the Elite 12, I guess, North, or the Top Shot of South?
Remind me who is in Top Shot of South. It's Daquan.
So that would be Daquan, Jordan, and Charles.
Oh, man. I think it's more important to be 2-0 in the Top Shot of South. Against Jordan, I mean, that I think kind of singularly changes it to me. Because if you're 1-1 in Jade's division, that's probably what everyone else is going to be anyway. So you're still, like, right there. But you don't want to fall behind Jordan, being in the Top Shot of South. So
And Jordan's got a very winnable game against Charles this week. I mean, Jordan's probably looking at a 2-0 start. Daquan loses this. That means week 3 is going to be so critical for both these guys in a long-standing rivalry. You could almost argue that should have been game of the week if that scenario unfolds, regardless if Daquan wins or loses this week, and regardless of if Jordan wins or loses this week. It's going to be a matchup that's probably going to help shape the playoff picture, honestly.
Yeah, it is. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm actually a little more excited about this game than I thought I was going to be. Jade came out fairly strong, and then Daquan looked pretty good in the week 1 opener. So it's just crazy to think that Jade could be 2-0. I mean, after all the crap we give him week in and week out in the offseason, he could be 2-0 after this weekend.
I mean, I'm literally going to quote Jade word for word on this. Soon as my phone loads, what the hell is going on? Yeah, so Jade texted me this morning that, man, I couldn't believe that I won that. But I mean, this is literally what he told me, and it's 100% true. It is the truth that describes Jade, how he kind of maintains his team and stuff. He said, dude, I literally didn't do anything different than I've done in years past. And it's the truth. He has built his team off the waiver wire. I mean, Jade's already probably going to make 4 moves this week, by the time you guys listen to this podcast, and it works for him. And who knows, maybe he reels off an upset here against Daquan. I mean, my God, if he's able to come back that much on Big Us, then why couldn't he pull out an upset here?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch. Are you ready to move into some of the other games we got on tap?
Yeah, real quick, who do you have in this?
Oh man, I'm going to take Daquan in a close one.
Yeah, you want to put a spread on it?
17 points.
Okay, so you got it a pretty close game then.
Pretty close, yeah. Not super close. 17 points. Daquan. What about you?
Okay, I'm gonna give Daquan this too, but probably I'm gonna say 15. I'm gonna go down a little bit more than you are. I'm gonna say 15-point margin. I think Jade gives him a run for his money, but Daquan literally almost broke 300 points last week. Jade got to like 270, so I don't know. I'm thinking it's gonna be pretty close.
Okay, so Jade gets an extra tackle assist and gets 2 points closer than I have him projected.
Right.
So all right.
Yeah.
Enough.
The guy trips the player, he falls.
Jade gets a couple extra points. All right. So next on tap, Roebuck versus Finkel as Einhorn. Finkel got run over last week by Mufali. We expected it. We saw it coming. Wasn't surprised by it. In the same breath, you went 350 something points, I think, 330 something points last week. So the projection is only 11 points, but I mean, honestly, how do we really feel about this game?
Oof. You want my opinion as the guy playing him?
Yes. Yeah. Let's hear it.
If I don't win
this
clip
of the week.
If I don't win this, I'm going to be pissed. I mean, this is a game that I should hopefully win. I'm not saying this can be a blowout, but I just want to win the damn game. You know what I mean? We've only played each other once before. It was 2015, week 4. I beat him 178 to 130. Totally different scoring system, 100%. But yeah, I mean, I look at his roster, and right now I'm starting like 3 receivers, 2 defensive linemen. Dude, if my flex players can't beat that, then I deserve to lose. There, yeah,
that's true. You do. Corey Peters in the lineup for Finkel, and I would just say again, who the is Corey Peters? Why is he in a starting lineup? 8 points last week. I don't know what he's doing there. Which is why these projections are bogus. Like 250, 247. Like it. I don't know, man. You should handle that one pretty easy. Colby against Peyton in a game that could go very, very high scoring, very, very fast. Peyton made a couple, or I guess at least one trade this week after week 1. Colby, I don't remember how he performed last week. I'm going to pull it up real quick. Colby 277, Peyton 280. So just in week 1, very, very close, and we're expecting a close game here. Anything else from you?
Man, does that not seem like low projected score for Colby? I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it now. He's got his lineup set. He's projected 247.
Yeah, the same as Finkel as Einhorn, by the way, which is how I know these are bogus. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm looking at Christian Kirksey. We talked about him as a stardom in the previous episode. Tremaine Edmonds should have a great game against the Giants. He should rack up tackles pretty easily. Yeah, I don't know what to say here other than this is going to be a way closer game than the projections are leading on. And these guys, I mean, they both got Lamar Jackson. They're going to cancel each other out. Probably going to score 40 plus points this week. Zeke on Mr. 300 side, and then Saquon on the other side. Dude, you want to talk about a high scoring game? This may end up being one of those things where it's a barn burner, and we're looking at close to 600 points between both teams by the end of it.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I actually see this happening with both of them. And Peyton, man, this dude could be scoring 280 plus every week and lose games. 280 last week, lost to Cameron. He could score 300 this week and still lose. So Peyton, man, we look forward to seeing what you bring out, but I think that's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm paying attention to it, especially Lamar Jackson. Next game we have on tap here, Matt, the Crazy Legs versus Tyler, Protect the Booty. Matt came out swinging in week one. Tyler flopped in week one, which is unusual for him. And so kind of opposite ends of the spectrum here. Any thoughts on these on this matchup here?
Actually, real quick, who did you pick in the Mr. 300 versus Amusement Park game?
I'm gonna take Peyton by 7.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking Peyton too. I'm gonna give him 12.
All right, cool.
I'm gonna keep doing like
awesome.
3 to 5 points difference than you.
Yeah, thanks. Just one tackle, basically.
Yeah.
Matt and Tyler, they're both 258. Patrick, what are your thoughts on this game?
Oof. Not a lot of history between the two of them. First of all, Matt owns the series 2-0. Matt beat him in 2013 week 9, 162 to 102, and then 2015 week 8, Matt won 265 to 109. Man, that was probably the last time Matt was relevant in this league, other than 2016, obviously. I don't know. I think both these two owners none of us have I have a lot of faith in them this year, but Matt, I mean, surprises. He had the third highest point scored last week, broke 300, looked absolutely stellar. Does he do that again this week? I don't know if it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. Definitely not high on Tyler's team, though. I think between the two of them, though, my pick is going to have to be, ready for this?
Yeah, tell me.
I'm going to go Tyler. I'm going to say 3 points.
Wow. Okay. I'm going the opposite. Matt's got a lot of players I like. We already talked about Austin Eckler. Of course, Hopkins is there. Calais Campbell, Jordan Poyer. So I'm going to go with Matt. I'm going to give him about 18 points over Tyler.
Okay.
So fairly close.
Man.
We'll see what happens.
Tyler's starting out 0-2. Like, how many games does this guy end up winning by the end of the year? Usually he's getting these wins week 1 and 2, but now, man, that's not good.
If he starts 0-2, not going to be a whole lot of wins. I'll tell you that. All right, next matchup here. It's me and BP. So, so two guys that opposite ends of the spectrum right now. With BP losing incredibly in his first game, and then me kind of squeaking by Tyler. So, I guess with that said, what are you expecting from this matchup before I kind of weigh in?
I know you haven't finished setting your lineup yet, obviously. Right now you're projected to lose by 70 points. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. I really think BP probably did have his worst week that he's going to have this season. I think the worst is probably behind him. I'm not saying he goes on a winning streak or something, but I do expect better games than that. Alvin Kamara should be able to put up a good bit of points. I'm not saying he's going to put up Christian McCaffrey 60-something points, but yeah, I can see him breaking 30. I think that's very reasonable for Alvin Kamara against the Rams. But I'm going to have to give it to you, man, by a good margin. I'm going to give it to you by 30, honestly.
Oh, wow. Well, I appreciate that. I just set my lineup. 256 is what it's projecting. Yeah, I agree. I think I've got him in this one. I've looked over his team just from last week. Not crazy impressed by it. Outside of Alvin Kamara, not a lot of depth there. JJ had the goose egg. Trevathan Bates and Eddie Jackson were very lackluster, as I expected. So yeah, I think I'll take that one. Next one here is very, very interesting. One that I think everyone's gonna be paying attention to. Really, the next two: Eastside Brawlers versus Buck Your Mother, John versus Isaac, in a game that's projected to be pretty high scoring. If you look at your dad's projected score there, tell us a little bit about this matchup here.
Yeah, this would be the 8th time they played each other since 2016. Isaac owns the overall series 5-2, so almost a landslide, really. And the last time Eastside Brawlers won was literally a year ago to the date, week 2 of 2018, where he won 272-242. And you cannot forget the divisional round matchup between these two teams. Isaac, who felt disrespected the entire second half of the year, with us going on about my dad, that's John. And the Christian McCaffrey run and stuff he was making, and then ends up beating him in a relatively close game, 221-208. That was super low scoring. Good God. I don't know why I don't remember it being that bad, but Jesus, that's no wonder Billy won. I mean, these two guys were at their lowest point of the year in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, anyways, that's a different story entirely. But I think, man, you look at the history between these two, I think we're in a good matchup. Another game that's going to be high scoring. What's up, Nala? And
yeah, sorry, that was my bad.
I've got you're fine. But hang on, sorry, I've lost track. I'm looking at my list, my pick'ems here. Isaac's gonna be pissed about this. I've got my dad beating him in a relatively close game. I've got it by 9 points.
Yeah, I'm also gonna take your dad, projected 300 points because of his defense. I'm gonna give it to your dad pretty close. I'm gonna say 21 points. Fairly close, not super close. All right, next game here. So Detroit Bad Boys versus the Spurs. This is a huge rivalry. It's probably going to spark a lot of conversation as we move closer to week 2. Tell us a little bit about Billy, the former conference champ, and Cameron, who can't ever seem to stay out of the group chat.
If Cameron can find a way to interject him into a conversation in the group chat, he does it, which I applaud him for. It makes it way more entertaining when sometimes it dies down. But anyways, they've been playing each other since the dawn of Billy coming into this league in 2016. Billy owns the overall series 4-2, has twice as many head-to-head wins against Cameron. And the last time Cameron won was week 5 of 2017, where Cameron won 273-242.
Oh, he got swept.
It's just not been
swept by Billy last season.
Oh, he got swept by Billy. He didn't just get swept by him, but the closest game between the two of them was week 11 of last year when Billy won 257-230. It was 27 points. That was the closest game. The other one was by 42 points.
Oh,
it's not good with Antonio Brown possibly missing. I don't know. With everything going on right now, it's just hard to tell. Who knows? Maybe by the time people are listening to this, something even crazier has happened with Antonio Brown, but it's not looking good.
Yeah.
And I'm an Antonio Brown owner in another league, and it's not pretty. I'll be the first to admit that. And you got to be worried about it for Cameron.
Yeah, you definitely do, especially with that receiving core looking kind of thin on his end. I mean, he does have Jeffrey, but Mike Williams went down with an injury, so it's Edelman and Jeffrey, basically, if Antonio Brown doesn't play. So projected, it's going to be close when Cameron sets this lineup, probably 11 or 12 points or so. Who are you picking in this matchup?
Cameron's not going to like this. I'm actually picking Billy to win this by about 13 points is kind of where I've got it. So still a relatively close game. I mean, I think we've seen stat change games by 13 points before. So yeah, I would say that's pretty close, but I'm going to pick Billy in this matchup. I don't know. I kind of expressed some worries earlier about Cameron's receiving core at the moment. Yeah. Running back core maybe a little shoddy too with everything going over there in Cincinnati. So yeah, I'm going to give this to Billy.
Plus Billy gets Zeke back for a full game against Washington. I expect Zeke to put up 35 plus. I think Billy's going to run over Cameron in a game that's going to surprise people. So we'll see what happens, but That's going to be another fun one to watch. I'm glad we get to see this in week 2. Next game here, we back Big Oz versus Dirty Mike and the boys. Hold on.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
Dirty Mike and the boys.
I love that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite drops.
Yeah, literally is my favorite.
These guys, it might be a stinker. 2 teams that we're not super excited about in the long haul. Big Oz is rebuilding that franchise. Mike is rebuilding his franchise. Any thoughts here? Tyreek Hill's out, so Mike's got to climb over that kind of barrier there.
Well, I think Mike and any other Tyreek owners out there would rather him just not play than play and get hurt, like what happened last week. So I don't know. This game's very interesting to me, into the fact that I know you're calling it a stinker, but these, like you said, these are 2 rebuild teams. So this game means a lot to both of them. This game may be the difference. We just talked about Jade possibly going 2-0. Can you imagine Jade's 2-0 and now you're 0-2? And you're one of these teams that we projected with few wins anyways to begin with. That is a big difference. I mean, that's basically like a 4-game lead in most other divisions. That's a big deal. The loser of this may be looking at, already an early pick next year's draft. As crazy as that sounds, I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself there, but I don't know. There's a lot on the line for both of these guys, and I think it should be a pretty good game. I mean, Mike, he definitely crapped the bed last week, but again, Tyreek got hurt. That was a big part of it. So I expect it to be a lot closer.
Who are you picking?
Man, I knew you were going to ask me that, and I didn't have a pick'em section open on my app. Hang on, I'm getting to it. I did all of this earlier today at lunch. That was fun. I've got, that's right. I've got we back Big Oz winning against Mike in this game. I just saw more overall out of his team, and I know Big Oz is trying to make some moves this week, so I expect some good things out of him.
Yep, I agree. Next game, the Steel Curtain versus Vegetarians. Cody, I don't know if we had to spend a whole lot of time talking about this game, Patrick. I expect Cody to just beat him like a redheaded stepchild. A dirty rug, and an old drum, whatever you want to beat him like. Cody's just gonna beat the brakes.
He's gonna
off
beat him
this
off.
Weekend. He's gonna beat him up. Whack a guy, off a guy, whack off a guy. Cody. I mean, what more can you say? Storm's got Darius Guice in his starting lineup. He's doubtful for the game. I think he sprained his ankle. Guys like Allen Robinson, you're starting 3 receivers. That doesn't leave me a lot of faith in the team. Wesley Woodyard looked god awful last week. You're going up against. Even Cody without Antonio Brown and Joe Mixon still has Deshaun Watson, James Conner, Chris Godwin, Anthony Hitchens, Aaron Donald, Darius Leonard. It shouldn't be close.
No, I agree. In fact, believe it or not, most of their matchups, I'd say it's kind of 50-50 between close and not being close. They played each other 7 times in the past. Cody owns the series 5-2. Last time Storm won was week 1 of 2016 when he won 163-151. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, man. I think this is going to get ugly pretty quick. And it's going to be interesting. Here's a storyline to follow for the Steel Curtain this week. Does Josh Jacobs get his opportunity to finally start for this franchise and maybe become an actual legitimate week in, week out starter for him?
Yeah. So we'll see. He's starting in mine for sure in both my leagues. So I'm sorry, who do we have here next? Jordan and Charles in a game that's projected fairly close. And I'll be honest with you, I'm looking at Charles' matchups, and I like them. I like them a lot going to this game. I think
it's projected close because he still has one more person to put in his lineup. Charles does.
Yes.
So this could be closer than it's indicating right now.
In fact, Charles might be favored in the projections. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot, but still, I expect a very close game. I like a lot of his matchups. So I could see, I don't know what I'm going to predict, but I could see Charles stealing this one from Jordan.
Man, if it happens, that'll be the first time ever because Jordan owns the series 7-0. I've talked about this many times before. It is not a kind rivalry here. It is literally 100% lopsided. Charles never made the playoffs. In fact, Charles has only started out 1-0 once since he joined the league. And Jordan has a long history of being good, man. I hate it for Charles because we did have some higher hopes for him this year, and Jordan may start out 2-0. And golly, would that make a big difference, especially if Daquan, if he was upset by Jade, that would be a big deal. Yeah, I think this should be a close game. I'm still going to give it to Jordan, though. Honestly, I think I've got him by like 12 points.
Yeah. I'm going to pick Charles in the upset. Pick him in the upset.
Okay.
See what happens. So,
If you want to crown them, then crown their.
I'm going to go ahead and crown Charles here. Hopefully that's not a bad omen for him. But Mufali versus #Slinging Slashers. This is Mondo. They both had a great week one. Mondo 327 points and still lost because he happened to face Isaac in week one. So Pat, not a lot of history. Mondo's a rookie owner, but he showed a lot of potential in week one.
Man, he gave Isaac a run for his money. In fact, there was a good while during Sunday and even in Monday where I thought, man, Mondo might actually pull out an upset here, and that would be great for me. That would have been nice, but it didn't happen. Unfortunately, Isaac almost broke 400 points, and Mondo scored 327, which is fantastic. If he can just get just get a 290, 295, man, you got a shot at beating Mafali, because I think that's the minimum you're going to need to be able to compete. I think Mafali's probably going to be putting up similar numbers to last year, like high 290s, maybe even break 300.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot of points. Right now, Mondo is favored by 17. I mean, really, if you're favored by anything less than like 30, it's basically a toss-up. I've noticed in this league. So I think it's a toss-up. It's gonna be a very close game, very exciting game. I'll be looking forward to watching that because I've been very interested in what Mufali's done with his team this offseason. So I'd like to see what happens from this one. But
who do you have winning?
Oh, give me Mufali in a very close one. In a very, very close one.
Same here.
Cool. Last game here, 100 Champions versus Michael. 100 Champions flopped in week one. Pulled a Cody, pulled a Tyler, whatever you want to say. Didn't perform great. Michael, the opposite, came out smacking people around, 295 points. But I still think I like Hunter in this one. I like his team. I like his management, his ownership, what he's done since he's been in the league. Michael hasn't shown a lot outside of week one. So, I mean, is there any history here, Pat? I mean, I know that they're both still fairly new, just in the last few years they've joined.
Yeah, there is a little bit of history. They played each other 4 times over the past 2 years because they've been in the same division. Michael's only won one of those, though, and that was week 5 of 2017, where he won 268 to 214 in a beatdown, to say the least. But 2 years ago to the day, it was the first time they ever played each other. And Hunter won by nearly 100. So
by nearly 100.
It's kind of literally. So it's kind of one or the other in these cases. It's neither one of them really has played a close game. It's either one team beats up on the other or the other team beats up on the other. So yeah. I think we're going to see a much closer game this time, actually.
Yep. Well, Hunter's favored by 9, so.
I'm going to go. I haven't picked a single upset tonight, and I feel bad for that. I'm going to give Michael this one. I'm going to go against my better judgment, against every gut instinct I have, and I'm going to give this one to Michael.
Well, I already picked an upset, so I'm going to do the rational thing and pick Hunter here. And I want to go back to something real quick. I forgot to play Jordan's sound drop when we did Afternoon Delight.
Man.
I know. We've had technical. I'm going to make up for it right now.
Afternoon Delight.
There you go, Jordan. That's just for you. Wanted to circle back, buddy. All right, Pat, we're done, man. We're done. Coming in under 30 minutes. Any last comments or anything before we head out?
No, that's pretty much all I got. Good luck to everyone.
Cool. Yeah.
We'll see you next
week. Good luck in week 2. We're excited
hopefully
to see
Isaac will be here too.
Forward. Yeah, hopefully Isaac will be joining us. We look forward to week 2, guys. Take it easy and good luck.